This is Dave Kushner from Velvet Revolver.
And I'm Duff McKagan from the same band.
And you're watching Toasted.
Can you please introduce yourself first?
George Bush, President of United States of America.
I'm Slash.
You guys were in the band Van Halen? Is that what shall we name the Franz Ferdinand? Yeah, that might be even better. Hey, but how are you guys? You're good. You're playing a shorter part of the festivals here in Europe because you canceled a few, I think. Why was that?
Wow, you're gonna start right off with that one. Yeah. We actually, as a band, we never really signed off on the rest of the extra 2 weeks of the gigs, and as it turned out, the people that book us here just
think that it was completely
and it just wasn't doable for us. So we're gonna, of course, be the bad guys, you know. But
isn't it I would say hard to get, like, because it's always brought like it's like a third world war happening when a band just can't make it for a few.
Well, you know, I'll take responsibility because ultimately it is our responsibility. But I will say we're going to come back and play the gigs. But it wasn't feasible right now.
Okay, hey, your new album Libertad. Can you tell something about it? Because it's been it's not really postponed, but the date has been pushed forward a little bit. We're gonna be there.
I got an answer for this.
Good. All right.
Okay.
I know.
Originally, we the band had decided on. The band was torn between two different songs for a first single, and the record label and our producer were both very adamant about the first single being Quick Machine. So it took a while for the band and the record company and everyone to agree on a single. So originally it was supposed to come out at the end of May. But because it took so long for us to decide on what the actual single was going to be, the actual album got delayed because they needed the extra time to set up the record process.
Oh, so that was our fault too?
Yeah.
Why are you always you're always the one to be blamed? No, it's not like that. Because you guys.
There's a lot of people in between the band and the fans. I know. You know, there's management, there's booking agents, there's record companies. So unfortunately, what we want, you know, to take directly to the fans doesn't always happen the way we want it to do, and sometimes it is ultimately out of our control.
But the great thing is that the amount of fans is growing and growing and growing. Because you guys, you started off and then everybody didn't know what to expect, etc. You started off with like a great album at the first place, and then you see at every show you see everyone just going along with every song. So I don't think the fans care.
Yeah, I don't think the fans really care. You know, we're playing probably tonight. We're playing a little shorter set. It's not a headline set, but we've been playing between 4 and 6 new songs. You know, 2 of which in Europe they've heard. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have heard. But we're playing songs people have never heard. You know, the other 2 to 4 songs off the new record that we're playing, and people are just rocking on it. And you know, our fans are pretty awesome here in Europe, you know, in the States and South America and Asia, Australia. It's pretty overwhelming.
It head off like a rocket, wasn't it? It didn't. It's already a few years ago, but you guys, what I really love about Velvet Revolver is it's the big groove, but it's really rock and fucking roll.
I think people were just pretty stoked to have a rock and roll record in 2004 that was kind of true, straight to the point, vicious. You know, I think with that success, we were able now to, with Libertad, sort of spread our wings a little bit and get a bit more musical. But I think Contraband was the perfect first record for us because it kind of just hit you over the head.
Yeah. The first time you listen to it, because a lot of rock or metal or whatever kind of like hard music, you got to take a few times to get everything on it, all the arrangements, etc., to even understand it. But this is just the first time you listen to it, it stays in your head and stays there forever. So.
Well, cool. That's good.
Yeah. And can you tell a little bit more of the new album? Because we heard a few songs, but not all.
I think the biggest difference is that when we wrote the songs for the first record, we didn't know who the singer was going to be. So now that we've had a singer, we've been a band for a while, it was a little easier to write songs. Having the singer's voice in mind, and I think that this record pushes in different directions musically more than the last record did. In as far as different styles and everything. So, it's a better record, I think.
And in the summer, it will be the United States of America, the country where you're president of, for touring, of course, to promote the album. But afterwards, you might be coming back.
Yes, after I serve my two terms as president of United States of America, yeah, we'll be coming back, definitely.
Did you solve some problems?
Yeah, no, well, I'm creating more than I've actually solved.
He's got a little bit more time to. You just got a little bit more time to solve.
November 2008? Is that?
The Middle East problem is just getting started, and I'm glad that I've been a big part of that.
Are you guys involved in what happens in America? Because the fun thing is, you guys flew over. You can't be involved anymore.
I tell you what, I've been touring since. I've been touring internationally since '87. Yeah. And so really, I consider myself, and I read the newspaper wherever I go, and I watch the news, and I talk to people, and I like to talk to people, and Dave will tell you I like to talk to people, and I listen, and I watch, and I've been doing this for the last now 20 years, and I consider myself a global citizen. I'm not. I realized a long time ago that where I'm from in the United States is not really indicative of the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. It's part of it, definitely, but so I think politically, globally. I am a United States citizen. I did learn a lesson on when we were doing press for Contraband back in 2004, and the biggest question I was getting, the first question, the election was just about to happen in the States, and
what do you think?
is Bush going to win? People were looking at me for the answer, and I was emphatically saying there's no way he can win, because where we're from in LA and where I'm from in Seattle,
he's got like 10%, I think.
Maybe, and so nobody we knew was going to vote for him, and nobody we knew who, anybody there.
But if you drive 1,000 miles further on.
He was against Al Gore, right?
Second time.
Oh, the second time. Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey, yeah, dude, the comedian.
I'd have voted for Jim Carrey.
The mask.
I don't know about you guys, but
yeah.
But it's.
He was a shoo-in. Sorry, I just spit.
Hey, you guys also do a lot of things besides recording albums and playing the songs you record on the album, the songs you write. But a few months ago, you had the Van Halen thing with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Can you tell us something about it? Was it in Mars or something?
Wow.
Fuck, brutal.
It was a debacle.
Yeah, it was bad.
Really?
Well, we were asked to do it when, in fact, the original Van Halen was going to regroup and do a tour. Mm-hmm. So, and we were asked, do you want to induct them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? It's like, man.
I saw Dave Mustaine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Cool.
And I saw Mike Muir.
What? Psycho Michael?
Yeah, Psycho Michael, dude.
Whoa, dude.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
So we were asked to do it, and we were honored. Yeah, great. And then as it got closer and we started to listen to what songs we do, the wheels came off hard and fast in the Van Halen camp, and it was, it made us realize, Velvet Revolver is not immune to drama. No. And I'll let the cat out of the bag. We're not immune to drama, but we realized at that point when we saw their camp falling apart, that I think maybe we grew up a little bit. It's sad to see, and I'm involved in something like this myself, but it's sad to see some guys who are like 50-something years old who've had this massive history, Sammy included, all those guys, that they can't even talk to each other. You know, and I know this is kind of ironic that I'm talking about this, but I'm not the, you know, I'm open to talking to anybody, but it made me like kind of grow up a little bit too.
But now, well, it's, I mean, and on the other hand, if you have a job somewhere and you start in the beginning of the 80s and you keep working there for 26 years, it might happen that in the end you don't want to do it anymore. To compare it with bands that play that long.
Touche, my man. You've got my tongue tied.
But that wasn't the case, you know? It's like, it's not that they didn't want to do it anymore. It's that they just couldn't get along long enough to show up for the award, you know? So that wasn't, in fact, the case in this case. Thank you.